Virgo, listen carefully. Mark your calendar, September 24th to 25th. A 48-hour doorway the ancients call the serpent's window. In these 2 days, forces move fast, and small choices echo like thunder. I'm Professor Elias Marlowe of Mindfulness Meditation, scholar of astrology and sacred practice. If you stay with me for the next 30 minutes, I will reveal the 3 karmic attacks most likely to target Virgo energy, and the exact shields you can raise to protect yourself. Before we dive in, like, share, and subscribe to Mindfulness Meditation. It helps us bring you more guidance like this. Imagine a doorway that opens only twice a year. Inside, choices are amplified. One misstep and habits that seem small can lock your path for years. But this is not only threat, it is also a portal. Those who move with awareness can turn danger into destiny. Over the next half hour I'll do 3 things. First, name the 3 karmic attacks targeting Virgo, the perfection trap, the hidden betrayal, and the stalled calling. Second, show you the immediate signs, what to watch for in your body, thoughts, and relationships. Third, teach you 3 practical shields, a micro-ritual, an affirmation, and a boundary practice you can activate in under 5 minutes. I'll also share a true short story, a Virgo client who ignored the window, and one who used the shields and changed course. You'll hear both so you know exactly how this plays out in real life. So stay with me. Keep a pen. If you want the fast, no-nonsense version, pause now and type shield in the comments. I'll pin the quick checklist. Otherwise, breathe, listen, and receive. Now, the serpent's window is opening. This is not fear, it's information. Let me show you how to walk through it whole. Ready? Let's begin. 1. The quiet gate. Virgo's 48-hour reckoning. Virgo, stop for a breath and listen as if the world outside is a distant drum. I speak to you as both scholar and shepherd, one who reads the stars the way a mason reads the grain of stone, and this is not gentle horoscope fluff but an urgent transmission. A narrow, hissing aperture in time has opened, and what slips through will test what you've built inside yourself. For if you walk through unarmed you will meet an old pattern shaped like comfort and disguised as fate, and if you walk through awake you will emerge with a different authority. You will feel the itch before the knock. Small things misalign, a familiar criticism surfaces from a voice you thought you'd outgrown, plans wobble at the edges. The world will call these occurrences annoyance. But for you, Virgo, annoyance is a summons. Where others see inconvenience you confront a moral ledger being rewritten, and this moment is not merely dramatic, it is decisive. Listen close. The moon pulls the veil tight, Mars sparks impatient fires, and the south node, the house of what you've carried for too long, yawns open. Astrologers call this the serpent's window, and it does not arrive to bless you but to examine you, like an ancient tribunal in the agora probing the habits you treat as virtues. The moon will heighten feeling into a mirror, Mars will demand action and expose where courage is only theoretical. The south node will insist you reconcile history, the small betrayals, the tidy compromises, before any new blessing can anchor, and this configuration opens briefly and will not wait, so timing matters though you will feel it as a pressure in the ribs rather than a clock. You, Virgo, are wired to a purity of craft and a devotion that reads like penance. Your meticulous eye, tireless service, and refusal to allow sloppiness in yourself or others become the precise lever this window tests. Where a Leo might be disturbed and rebound, where a Gemini flits away, you sit with the problem until it hardens into identity, and the universe asks, will your order serve life, or will it become a cage? Your habit of correcting others, of polishing flaws until they glitter, will be mistaken for control. This is the vulnerability. The test is not whether you're right but whether your righteousness costs you the surrender needed to grow. You will meet a two-edged moment where fear and empowerment arrive hand in hand. Fear will masquerade as certainty. I must fix this. I cannot be seen failing. If I loosen, chaos will win. And you must know the twin truth that fear is a compass and empowerment is the map. The door hands you both. The sting of being exposed is real. And the remedy is immediate if you breathe until the moon's reflection steadies and ask one fierce question. What freedom am I defending by holding on to this version of myself? Let that question be light and let it show you whether you are defending dignity or nursing an invisible debt. The practical work is simple, sacred, surgical. Ground yourself by setting your feet bare on the earth for 5 minutes. Name 3 small true facts about today. The sound you hear, the weight in your chest, what you can change this hour. Hold a boundary by refusing one request that would erase your margin, and journal a single sentence beginning, I will stop doing this because. These acts return your body to allegiance with your intent and convert abstract insight into an embodied decision. If you pass through this window awake, you do not merely survive, you reassign your power. The meticulousness that once punished you becomes the craft with which you sculpt a life of precise joy. The service that once erased your needs becomes a conscious offering, and history, those old debts in the ledger, moves from chain to footnote. This is the gift the serpent's window offers, the rare chance to convert old fear into a tool for freedom. When the world calls it small trouble, understand that the small is where destiny hides, and the challenge arrives wrapped in ordinary detail because you, above all, can salvage treasure from the seemingly trivial. Move through this opening with eyes open, with a calm hand of ritual and the blunt instrument of honesty. For the cosmos does not seek to punish you but to free the part of you that has been doing the same noble labor for too long. Claim that freedom, Virgo, and let your discipline become the architecture of a life chosen rather than a life endured. 2. The Quiet Siege. How to survive the 3 karmic attacks and claim your turning point. I am that old scholar and bedside coach you wish you had when life tightened its fist. I speak from a long table of charts and confessions, from bedside lamps and late-night journals, and I will speak to you plainly, because the window is open and it will not stay so forever. From 6 to 1800 hours, imagine a single day stretched like a corridor of choice. Each hour is a lantern. Walk with me down that corridor. I will point out the traps and give you the keys. Attack 1. Betrayal at the hearth. The Trojan horse in your living room, someone you trusted, perhaps a friend, partner, or loyal colleague, turns thinly veiled or plainly cold. Their smile becomes an economy of half-words. The wound is not theatrical, it is surgical. It opens a map of doubt where you used to keep certainty. Impact. The first blow is intimate. You become disoriented, your attention fragments. Tasks that used to feel simple now insist on heavy inspection. You replay conversations at 3 in the morning and lose sleep to evidence that seems to rearrange itself. Your inner narrator turns accusatory and loud. Strategy. Watch. Silence is a force if used like a dam. Do not launch salvos of accusation. Allow the mask to slip on its own timetable. Observe objectively. Gestures, inconsistencies, the small currency of time. Preserve your center by refusing the drama of immediate reaction. Let curiosity replace hurt for as long as you can. When the truth reveals itself, act from clarity, never from rupture. Attack 2. The Golden Mirage. Midas speaks again. An offer appears like sunlight refracted into gold. It promises ease, windfalls, shortcuts labeled once in a lifetime. It is packaged to trigger your FOMO, emails that glow, pitches that sing, investments that look like destiny. Impact. This is the seduction of distraction. You chase the shimmer and wake up farther from your North Star, with time wasted and a ledger of regrets. It fractures long-term projects and invites you to trade depth for the appearance of success. It steals your patience, the very currency that built your life. Strategy. Become a slow money person in a fast money world. Test offers against a simple rubric. Does this align with your true measure of abundance, or does it only enlarge your bank account and shrink your soul? Wait for timing. True abundance arrives like tide, not like a thunderclap. Ask 3 questions before you say yes. Sleep on it. If the offer requires abandonment of your core work, it's a mirage. Attack 3. The inner chain, karmic fear. This is the oldest enemy and the subtlest. Memory, shame, the inner critical committee that haunts your ankles. It is legacy speaking in small, familiar voices. You are not enough. You have failed before. It tightens like a chain around your will. Impact. Paralysis. Projects stall. You become an expert in postponement. The voice is convincing because it borrows your accent, your mother's reprimand, your first boss's sarcasm. It keeps you in orbit around fear instead of lifting you into action. Strategy. Act despite fear. Tiny courage compounds. Breathe to the count that calms your heart. 4 in, 4 hold, 6 out. Reframe, name the thought, there's the critic again, and then do one small radical act anyway. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is action in its presence. Build rituals. 5 minutes of movement, a short call to someone who sees you well, a line in your journal that says, I will try. Why these 3, and why now? These attacks are ancient archetypes wearing modern clothes. Betrayal is the Trojan horse, remember the story, the gift that hides an army. The Golden Mirage is the Midas curse, a wish turned hollow. The inner chain is Prometheus bound, the latent fire of your life shackled by punishment you no longer deserve. They recur because they work, each plays on a universal human need, belonging, ease, and safety, and exploits it. You have histories of successes and losses, of vows kept and postponed. That experience sharpens your instincts but also gives your fears more material to holler with. The imperative here is not to become brittle, it is to become surgical. Use your wisdom as a scalpel, not a bludgeon. A fresh perspective I offer: treat FOMO as a calendar problem, not a character flaw. When something screams, act now, put it on your calendar to consider later. If it survives the week and still sings, it's worth deeper attention. The world will sell you urgency, wisdom asks for rhythm. A short coaching blueprint: transform fear into leverage. Audit your loyalties. Spend 1 hour listing people and projects you can trust with your time. Reduce the noise around what you won't protect. Create a true abundance checklist, 3 items, that any opportunity must meet before you consider it. Keep it on sticky notes beside your coffee. Practice micro-courage daily. Pocket-sized acts, a 60-second phone call, a 200-word paragraph, a short walk to clear the mind. These stitch confidence back into the fabric of your day. A historical whisper to steady you. Remember the winter of 1944 when cities rebuilt, when people who had seen ruin chose to plant gardens again. They made tiny decisions repeated into recovery. Your present is not just a test of endurance. It is the anvil upon which a new shape of life will be hammered. You will be tempted to respond to each attack the way you always have. This time, respond differently. Breathe. Observe. Delay. Act in tiny, consistent ways that honor both your history and your hunger for meaning. Mark the hours, 6 to 1800 hours, as a ritual of vigilance and tenderness. In the hour you are tempted to panic, perform one act that honors your future self. This is both a warning and a blessing. You are being tested not to break you, but to make you choose with intention. The path is narrow, but that is why it is also luminous. Stand, breathe, and step forward. Your day, and the years that follow, are waiting to be claimed. 3. The ancestral contract. Why you were chosen. Virgo, listen closely. There are moments in life when you realize that what you carry is not just your own burden, not just your own story, but the echo of generations who came before you. It is as if your very blood hums with an ancient memory, whispering of unfinished vows, broken promises, and dreams left undone. And here you are, standing at this threshold, called not by accident, not by coincidence, but by design. You are chosen because the victory you win is not just for yourself, it reverberates through your bloodline, setting free those who could not cross the finish line in their time. Think of your ancestors. Some fought wars they never won, some carried heartbreaks they never healed, some lived in silence because their voice was never safe in the world they lived in. Their stories did not vanish when their bodies did. They were braided into the strands of your DNA, waiting for one who would rise. That one is you. You feel it, don't you? That restless urgency in your chest, the sense that ordinary life has never been enough, that you were born for something heavier, greater, more luminous. That is not delusion. That is destiny pressing against your ribs, reminding you that you are carrying the torch for your lineage. There is a spiritual contract sealed before you even took your first breath, a covenant older than time itself. Some call it karma, some call it divine assignment, some call it the unbroken chain of family soul ties. But whatever name you give it, you know it's real. Because the battles you face are rarely random. Notice how patterns repeat. The same financial struggles, the same betrayals, the same illnesses, echoing across generations. But in you, the cycle is confronted differently. You are not here to replay the same script, you are here to write a new ending. And in writing that ending, you alter the fate of every soul connected to your bloodline. I believe the universe is never careless with its choices. If you feel like life has been harder for you, it is because you were trusted with the heaviest chains. If you feel isolated, misunderstood, it is because few can see the hidden war you are fighting. But this isolation is not punishment, it is training. Great warriors are never trained in comfort. They are shaped in fire, hammered by pressure, awakened by loss, and disciplined by pain until they remember who they truly are. You, Virgo, were born to be such a warrior, not in the battlefield of nations, but in the battlefield of the soul. History is filled with names that only became legends because they stood against the impossible. Moses before the sea. Joan of Arc before the armies. Lincoln before a nation divided. Their courage was not about themselves alone, it was about those who would come after. You may not wear a crown or command an army, but in the invisible world, your courage is of the same weight. When you break a toxic pattern, you free your children. When you forgive what was unforgivable, you rewrite the emotional DNA of your bloodline. When you claim abundance after centuries of scarcity, you prove that wealth is not forbidden to your lineage. Do you see now? This is not just about you. It is about the hundreds, perhaps thousands, of souls linked to you through the river of time. And yes, there is fear. Fear because you feel the weight of those unseen eyes watching, waiting, praying you do not falter. Fear because you sense the spiritual resistance that rises whenever you get close to breaking free. But here's the truth. The very fact that you are still here, breathing, listening, means you are strong enough. Fear is not a signal of weakness. It is a signpost that you are walking into sacred territory. And where fear stands as a gate, courage is the key that opens it. So, what will you do with this awareness? Will you carry on as though life is random, that nothing matters? Or will you rise, even shaking, even afraid, and declare, "This ends with me. This curse stops here. This silence is broken. This family line will walk free"? Remember, history does not remember those who lived quietly. It remembers those who shifted the tides of their generation. You have been handed that torch. Do not waste this moment. These days ahead are not simply days on a calendar. They are sacred hours when heaven bends close to earth, when your choices resound like thunder in the halls of eternity. Stand tall, Virgo. Break the chains. Claim your inheritance. And when your descendants speak of you, let them say, "It was here with you that the curse was broken and the bloodline was set free." 4. The 3 sacred shields. Virgo, hear me now. There are moments when the noise of this world becomes deafening. Moments when betrayal pierces like a dagger, when false opportunities parade themselves in dazzling disguise, when fear comes like a storm to break your will. And in those moments, the universe does not abandon you. It hands you 3 sacred shields. Not shields of iron, but of spirit. They are the quiet weapons of those chosen to walk with wisdom, forged not in comfort but in fire. The first shield is silence. There will come a time when betrayal knocks at your door, not from strangers, but from those you trusted with your soul. It is in that moment that silence becomes your fortress. The world will tempt you to scream, to explain, to justify, to fight in the mud with those who dragged your name there. But silence, Virgo, is not weakness, it is strategy. Silence is the weapon of those who know that truth has its own thunder, that dignity speaks louder than any defense. Remember, when Christ was accused, he did not argue with his accusers. He stood in the power of silence, and history proved him greater than every word spoken against him. So when betrayal finds you, wrap yourself in silence, not as a victim, but as a sovereign. Your quiet will carve their lies into dust. The second shield is discernment. False opportunities will come dressed as miracles. Some doors open, shining with promises of wealth, love, or influence, but not every open door is divine. Some are traps, beautifully decorated cages meant to keep your spirit small. Here, discernment is your sacred filter. It is the ability to see not with your eyes but with your spirit, to weigh intentions, to sense when the glitter is only glass. And let me tell you, discernment is not born in comfort, it is sharpened in disappointment. Every time you were deceived in the past, every time you trusted the wrong hand, your soul was learning to read the hidden language beneath appearances. Use it now. Pause before you say yes. Listen to the still voice in your chest. If peace is absent, the opportunity is poison. And then comes the third shield, faith in action. Fear will come like a flood, it always does, right before a breakthrough. You will feel it in your bones, in the racing of your heart, in the whisper that says, "You are not ready, you cannot do this." But faith is not a feeling, it is a weapon. Faith is the choice to step forward even when your knees tremble. Faith is not simply believing, it is acting as if the promise has already been fulfilled. When David ran toward Goliath, he was not fearless. He was faithful. Faith turns fear into fuel, and every step you take while afraid is a declaration to heaven and hell alike, "I trust the one who called me." Now hear me, Virgo. These 3 shields are not theoretical. They are practical. The next time betrayal pierces you, practice the discipline of silence. Write, pray, breathe, but do not waste your power on explaining to those who cannot see truth. The next time a glittering offer comes, test it. Ask yourself, does this align with my soul, or does it flatter my wounds? And when fear comes, Do not wait for courage to descend. Act anyway. Pick up the phone, apply for the job, walk into the room, confess the love, start the project. Action is the only proof of faith. The days ahead are sacred hours, Virgo. They are not casual. They are windows of destiny where betrayal, deception, and fear will test you. But you have been given these shields because you are meant not only to survive but to triumph. And when you wield them, you do not just protect yourself. You become the protector of your lineage, the guardian of your story, the living proof that destiny can be claimed by those who dare to stand tall. So now the choice is yours. Will you meet betrayal with noise, or with silence? Will you fall for every open door, or will you test the spirits with discernment? Will you let fear paralyze you, or will you wield faith in action? These are not abstract questions. They are the battlegrounds of your very soul. And the moment you say yes to your shields, the universe begins to fight with you. Virgo, you are not walking into these hours unarmed. You are walking in as a warrior dressed in silence, discernment, and faith. And when history tells your story, let it say this: you were tested, you were pressed, but you rose, and in rising, you became unshakable. Virgo, let us close this circle the way we opened it. Clear, fierce, and chosen. The window is closing on 24/25/9. The serpent's window has tested you, and now you stand at the doorway. Remember what you were told. 3 attacks came to break you. Betrayal from the circle you trusted, the mirage of quick wealth that promises everything and delivers nothing, and the old, heavy fear that rises from memory to keep you small. These were the trials. These were the mirrors. Now hear the map home. You were given 3 sacred shields for a reason. Use them. Silence. When the knife appears in the dark, do not leap to answer. Hold your tongue. Watch the mask slip. Let reaction waste their poison, not your power. Discernment. When gold glitters too quickly, step back. True abundance never hurries you into loss. If something feels rushed or hollow, refuse the bait. Wait for alignment. Faith. When the old whispers scream that you are not enough, move anyway. Action defeats the anchor. Courage melts the chain. This is not only about you. Your choice here ripples through your line, past and future. Break the pattern and you do more than free yourself. You loosen the chains on those who follow. Imagine that crown, not arrogance, but stewardship. Imagine the phoenix rising from these very ashes, the chains falling at your feet. You were chosen because you could carry this fire. Now act. I want you to do 3 simple things in the next 48 hours. Write a 1-line affirmation each morning for 3 mornings. I claim my destiny. Repeat it aloud. When doubt screams, breathe for 5 slow counts, then take 1 small step forward. Action while afraid is your alchemy. If this message landed in you, type, I claim my destiny, in the comments and share this with another Virgo. Be the torchbearer. Pause with me now. 5 deep breaths. Let the tension leave your shoulders. Feel the resolve set like armor. You leave this video not as someone frightened by a storm, but as its breaker. The final gate has been faced. The choice was given. You chose to rise. Go forward with silence when you must, with discernment when tempted, and with faith when fear knocks. Break the chain. Claim the crown. Virgo, your destiny waits.